Let's be real. ChatGPT isn't a secret anymore, but most people still don't use it right. They treat it like a cheat sheet. I don't. I use it like my personal coding mentor, and today I will show you how I use ChatGPT in 7 unique ways you probably haven't seen before. And no, this won't be about explain like I'm 5 or fix my code. Let's learn the smart way in 2025. Alright, let me show you something really cool I do that changed how I study with ChatGPT. Most people just open ChatGPT, ask random questions and move on. But I treat it more seriously, like I'm setting up a real online classroom. Instead of having just one AI assistant, I create custom code coaches with different personalities and teaching styles depending on what mood I am in or how I want to study that day. For example, if I want to understand something gently with visuals and real world examples, I use this prompt. Watch me type it in. This gives me a teaching experience that actually feels human. It's not just answering. It's guiding me step by step like a real mentor would. And on days when I want to be challenged or pushed like in a real bootcamp, I use a totally different prompt. Here I am creating a tough instructor that doesn't just spoon feed me the answer. They actually make me think first before helping. Watch this. With this, I'm not just learning, I'm building confidence, learning how to think like a developer and solving problems on my own first. So now, every time I open ChatGPT, I don't just start typing randomly. I start with intention. Do I want a kind coach today or a tough mentor? I literally label my chats, visual code, quest master, debug buddy, and it feels like I've built my own private code school, and the best part, it's all free. Let's be honest. Reading documentation is boring, like you open JavaScript docs to learn something like the fetch API and suddenly your brain is begging for a nap. It's flat, technical, and there is no flow to help it actually stick in your mind. But here's my trick. I use ChatGPT to turn those boring docs into fun, bite-sized, interactive lessons. So what I do is I copy a small section of the documentation, let's say about fetch, and then I paste it into ChatGPT with a specific prompt. Let me show you exactly what I type. This changes the game. Instead of reading passively, I'm learning in steps and getting quizzed as I go. And if I get something wrong, GPT explains it again differently. It's like an interactive tutor. But wait, here's what it gets fun. Sometimes I ask ChatGPT to teach me the topic in a weird and funny way like this. I type something like this. And what I get is this super creative Harry Potter style lesson. Now I'm not just learning fetch, I'm using data scrolls and casting async spells. It sticks in my head because it's fun. So yeah, documentation doesn't have to be dry. Just turn it into a game, a class, a fantasy story, whatever helps you learn best. And the best part, ChatGPT adjusts to your vibe instantly. Alright, here's another thing I do that takes my learning to the next level, and it's something most people don't even think of using ChatGPT for. I don't just read JavaScript concepts and hope I will remember them. I actually train my memory like seriously, and for that I turn ChatGPT into my personal flashcard generator and quiz coach. Let's say I just learned how the map method works in JavaScript and maybe I've practiced a bit. Now it's time to lock it in for me based on the code I just wrote. This is not just asking it to explain something, I am making it test me like a real teacher. I go through these flashcards and see how many I get right without checking the answer. And guess what? I revisit them every few days. It's like mini revision but smarter. But when I want to go deeper, like when I'm learning harder stuff like promises or acing a weight, I do this instead. I asked ChatGPT to make a spaced repetition quiz, which is basically a technique that shows you tricky stuff more often until you master it. This way, the questions repeat and evolve. I'm not just reading concepts, I'm getting actively quizzed on them. And if I get stuck, I ask ChatGPT to explain the answer in a different way, even with a fun analogy. Every 3 days, I go back and review flashcards or redo the quiz, and my brain remembers stuff way better than just reading blog posts or watching tutorials. So yeah, using ChatGPT this way, it's like having your own private memory coach, and it's way more fun than boring revisions. Okay, this is one of my favorite ways to level up, and honestly, it's also one of the scariest. I literally simulate real world scenarios using ChatGPT, not just tutorials, not just projects. I train like I am in a real dev job, fixing bugs, answering clients, and thinking under pressure. I start by giving GPT a very specific prompt. Watch me type it in. Once I hit enter, GPT replies like a real senior dev. It drops some broken JavaScript code and says, here is the issue, find out why it's not working, and boom, my brain has to actually debug just like I would do in a real interview or dev job. But I don't stop there. I take it one step further. I ask ChatGPT to act like a client now. You know how clients are. They give vague, confusing bug reports like the button isn't working, something feels off, so I practice how to respond. Now I have to ask the right questions to get the info I need. Just like in real freelance or job situations, it's a mix of tech skills and communication, which is exactly what companies want. I will be real. It's a little scary the first few times you do it, but it's also so fun. And more importantly, it gets you ready for the real world interviews, jobs, clients, all of it. It's like having a career simulator in your pocket, so if you want to stand out, start practicing this way, trust me. Instead of typing new prompts every single day, I just open Google Keep and boom, here are all my go-to templates. Whenever I sit down to code or study, I pick one of these prompts, paste it into ChatGPT, and it feels like I've started a guided session, just like a course. But the difference is it's totally focused on me, not a one-size-fits-all tutorial. I call this my AI journal, and every prompt here is like a system I can repeat anytime. If you have been using ChatGPT just to get answers, you are missing the real power. Use it like a coach, a quiz partner, a client, a debugger, and even a curriculum builder. That's how you grow, with intention, not shortcuts. Comment below which trick will you try first.